Happy Purim to the entire Jewish world. Purim is the day that we saw, in fact, we celebrated the destruction of Amalek. Unbelievably, we're still celebrating the same story. What is going on in the world? We all want world, everybody wants world peace, but sometimes it looks like the world's going to pieces. So somebody's got to come up with the right solution to world peace. And in fact, it doesn't make any sense, because if you ask anyone, I remember when I was a kid, I think it was like first grade or something, teacher asked, what do you want? And like 50% of the class, maybe it's a bunch of Jewish kids, but 50% of the class wanted world peace. So why can't we have world peace? And it all boils down to one thing. You have two people, marriage. Two people, they fall in love, they're ready to give their lives, they're ready to do anything. And then they get into such arguments. Most marriages, 50% of marriages end up in divorce today. Millennials at 70%. How come we don't know how to have peace? And what is the difficulty in having peace? I mean, it's the most simple thing in the world to have peace. But the answer is that there's a dark side in the world. The side of light, the side of God is one. God is one, and we're all part of that one. However, the dark side says something different. It says, I am the one. And the more, there's like this Indian teaching that says there are two wolves within us. There's a wolf of peace and love, and there's a wolf of arrogance and hate. And so the disciple says to the master, he says, but master, which wolf will win? And listen very carefully to this. He says, it depends which wolf you feed. So ironically, love comes from our ego. We want to have love. Everything that we want, as soon as you say, I, that's already the ego. I want this. Even to say, I want peace, as soon as you put in the I, it's the ego. So you might, I fell in love with you, but the same I, as you feed that I, as you get that, say, joy and that ego boost from it, it doesn't make you love more. It actually makes you a little bit angry when you don't get your way, because the ego, the bigger it is, the less it can tolerate not getting its way. So the I gets out of control. So the whole thing of life is figuring out how to control the I, because without the I, there can't be unity. There must be more than one I to have unity. If there's only one I, there's no unity. So you have to have two I's. But the question is, how do you have an I that doesn't get out of control? And this, my friends, is the entire idea of Judaism. We see very, very clearly that in the Jewish, and particularly in the spiritual practice of Judaism, it works. What is the secret? How does it work? So the Rebbe Rashab, one of the great Rebbes, says as follows. He says, if you go to a store, does the store care what they sell you? No. They just want to make money. Whatever they sell is fine, as long as they're going to buy and they're making money. Same thing, every single mitzvah, every single good deed that we do, particularly in the Jewish way, particularly in the Hasidic way, which is saying, Nasa v'nishra. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I was created. My I is really God. I am here as an agent of God. Those are the greatest people in the world. Why? Because you're giving up. Even spirituality can get connected to ego. I love God. I. But if you can give up, say, no, I don't love God. I am a servant of God. I serve God. I do what He tells me to do. I don't decide what my gender is. I say, oh God, you made me male. Well, then I'm going to be the best male I could be. You made me female, be the best female. You made me a Jew, a Gentile, whatever you made me. Even a tree, I'll be the best tree that I can be. I'll be the part in this universe that you want me to be. And we have to recognize we're here in the holy city of the Ari. The Ari speaks about there are two types of souls, masters of Torah and masters of good deeds. So for example, myself, my father's a rabbi, his father's a rabbi. God obviously created circumstance that I'm a rabbi. It doesn't mean I'm a good rabbi. I have to choose to be a good rabbi. I have to choose to serve my people. Then somebody else is called a master of good deeds. There's a master of Torah, a master of good deeds. The master of good deeds, okay, God gives them a potential. Let's say their father was a businessman. Let's say they have a little bit of money. They're more in the world than I am. Well, they have to exercise their power of giving. They might have a good ability, but they have to exercise it. So this Purim, let's get beyond hate. Let's get into love. And the way we get into love is we take out the I from the love. It's not I love. There are a billion songs in the West about love, and yet we have more divorces and all this kind of domestic violence and stuff like that. So it doesn't show that the I is the solution to love. The solution to love is saying, I am here to fulfill the role that God put me into this world. And we have a very clear constitution. We have 613 mitzvahs. He tells us exactly every single Jew must study the 613 mitzvahs. And Gentiles must study the 7 Noahide laws. God didn't make the world only for the Jews. He made it for every person. And I'll try to put a link to my book, which are practical guidance from the Bible for all people. And the bottom line is, let us all make this very firm and powerful resolution that I exist to serve my Creator. I am part of His beautiful world. And this is how we actually get to unity, by all of us giving up the ego part of I and getting into the God part of I. L'chaim v'levracha.